Look, I've been a Topper guy since he took over for Joe Girardi in 2022. I think he's done overall a good job. But Hugh, sometimes a team needs energy and the spark. And the Phillies right now are lacking a spark. And I thought in the 7th inning last night, there was an opportunity for Rob Thompson to deliver a spark, and he sat there like a zombie in the dugout. So the 7th inning, we played the call for you. And JT Realmuto, and that was a sequence that just went the Phillies, the opposite way of the Phillies, right? He hits the ball down the line, almost a home run, right? It was a foul ball by about, 5-10 feet. That's this close to a 3-run home run. It would have made the game 8-7. All right, it's foul. And then he strikes out in a pitch that is so far off the plate that I haven't heard one person this morning say, actually, no, maybe it was close. It wasn't even close. L.A. was totally right. It was a total joke. And that's not Rob Thompson's fault. And a lot of this team isn't Rob Thompson's fault because he doesn't build the team. He just manages it. But that was an opportunity to come out last night, Hugh, and get yourself fired up, thrown out of the game, protect your players, show the team you have a pulse, get the stadium rocking. It's gone on in baseball for 100 years, and Rob Thompson sat there like he was half asleep. And I got to tell you, it reminded me, everyone, 3 years ago when Joe Girardi got fired here, 3 years ago. There was a moment late in April where Kyle Schwarber lost his mind on Angel Hernandez, and Girardi sat there like he was totally asleep at the wheel. And a month later, he was out of here because that team had no life, and Topper took over. And I was reminded of that last night. Look, I like Topper, but at some point, the buttons you press, they got to work. And this guy's moves so far this year have fallen flat almost every single time. He had a chance last night to fire everyone up, and he sat there. I was super frustrated, and I'm starting to second-guess Rob Thompson as Phillies manager. Hugh, where are you at on Topper? There was an opportunity there. He could have run on that dugout last night and let the ump hear it, and he sat there like he was half asleep at the wheel.
Allow me to long talk for a minute, man.
Different
I think
than
I'm
quick,
going to have to.
Than quick talking,
here
right?
we go.
Yeah,
no, and I'm not making any excuses because I know how people feel this morning. But I think as a whole, last night, there was a lot going on last night in that game. You know, you talk about the Taillon Walker era. You talk about other stuff that was going on.
Gender reveals.
I wasn't gonna say nothing because I mean, hell, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, you know.
Congratulations to the Harpers.
But you got to be able to read the room. You got to be able to read the room. And I think that the juice that you were looking for, they came out with that initially, and then somewhere along the line, the juice went out. Now I know it's easy to point to that moment and say, you know, he looked like a zombie. It's not a good look. I'm not going to lie. That's not a good look. I shout out to John Johnson for posting the video and being able to look at it. It's not a good look, but I'm not ready to blame him and say it's all his fault. Hitters got to hit, man. Hitters got to hit and players got to play. But I understand. I empathize with where people are feeling this morning when it comes to Rob Thompson because he's the manager and you want to light a fire up under the team. But like I said, they came out and they looked like they were ready to play. They initially looked like they were ready to play. And then somewhere along the line, the wheels fell off the wagon.
Well, and then when they fell off, they fell off. Look, when I say I'm frustrated at Rob Thompson, I'm second-guessing him, I don't think this is all his fault. It's not, right? You're totally right, Hugh. It's not his fault that Trey Turner is a lesser player now than he was 3 years ago. That's not Rob Thompson's fault. It's not Rob Thompson's fault that his pitchers are losing velocity as they age. It's not his fault that Taillon Walker is average at best. Like, none of this is his fault. I mean, he's got to play with the hand he's dealt.
Exactly.
But he's got to be able to add something, right? So he's made a lot of moves so far. He's tried different things. Unfortunately for him, they haven't worked. So his strategic moves aren't really working, and it is what it is. He's trying things. He's throwing stuff at the wall. It's not sticking. But I need this team to wake up. And 3 years ago, we said the same thing. I mean, literally the same stuff was being said. Like, they're listless, they're slow, what's going on? And they made a change. And again, I'm not calling for his firing today. I'm just saying Rob got the job because the guy above him, they weren't performing for that manager for whatever reason. And I'm watching a team here that looks like they're half asleep, and their manager looks half asleep. After the game, Rob Thompson asked about that. Listen to his response. I mean, this wasn't just a bad call. This was a ridiculous call. Here's how Topper talked about it after the game.
It's rare to see JT react to a call like that.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah, it was off the plate.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah.
Can we have a little more energy than it was off the plate? Oh. I mean, anyone in the world could have told you it was off the plate, Rob.
Yeah, that right there. That was tough.
Are we going through the motions, or are we trying to win baseball games?
And again, you got to be careful. Not making excuses, but I'm not making excuses.
Here we go.
Is this like with all due respect where you start with I'm not making excuses and then start making excuses?
I'm not making excuses. That was a tough night, though. Okay, in a small sampling size, like the first 2 innings, did they look like they were ready to play?
Well, they came out hitting.
They came out hitting. Didn't they look like they were ready to play? And then all of a sudden, it just spiraled out of control. And honestly, I think, and this is not an excuse, but when you it's almost like when you get hit with a punch that you didn't see coming, and you're trying to gather yourself. You're sitting there and you're trying to gather yourself. That's the only thing I could think of in that 7th inning when I look over there and they show Topper and he's just standing there. He was trying to figure out where the hell this thing went wrong at.
Yeah, well,
because before you knew it, it was 8-4. It was like, what, 3-3, and then all of a sudden the wheels just completely fell off the wagon.
Well, yeah, the Giants' offense exploded there in that second inning, then they poured on later and later. 215-592-9494. We got a lot to get to with Topper today. Can we hear him on Taillon Walker's night? Because this was it was an interesting response.
Micah Parsons-esque?
Yeah, Micah Parsons' response to Taillon's 6-run outing. Here it was after the game.
Other than that one inning where he made a couple of mistakes, hanging cutter and a fastball he's trying to go in and left it out over the plate, I thought he pitched pretty good. You know, stuff was good. He saved the pen. He grinded through 5 innings. So.
He did do that, though.
He did. So, I mean, again.
I gave him 3, but he went.
Like when Micah said what he said.
Yeah, that dog ain't hunting.
He's not wrong, right? Other than a 1 inning, it wasn't that bad. Unfortunately, that 1 inning had 6 runs.
Yeah, that was a tough inning.
Yeah, and a tough night, and it's been a tough week plus for the Phillies here. 215-592-9494. We'll get to a lot on Topper here, but let's just start with this. After the game, Topper kind of second-guessed himself after the game about a pinch-hitting situation. I'm starting to second-guess Rob Thompson with everything because his moves so far, his strategic moves, have not worked. Like again, Stott in the leadoff spot last night, a weak fly ball to left field in a big spot. He benches Marsh last night, which I get, right? You're trying to help this guy.
Yeah, struggling.
But it goes to Rojas, and the game finds him multiple times, and he struck out 3 times in 3 at-bats. He looked horrendous at the plate. They drop Alec Bohm in the lineup. That's not really working. Like, nothing Topper seems to do is getting energy out of this team. He had a chance last night to spark this team, and he sat there like it was weekend at Bernie's. Kyle, where are you on Topper right now? Because this is frustrating.
Not weekend at Bernie's.
You never want the weekend at Bernie's comp for a baseball manager. That's usually
that's what it was. Put the glasses on him. Yeah. I'm not sure if he's alive in the dugout.
People calling him Rob Zombie last night, which
that was real creative.
Yeah,
like
it's reminding me of the end of the Girardi era when he was asleep in the dugout. I think he's really feeling the pressure of this lame duck situation and the fact that he could, or very possibly is, on the hot seat this season. You said it. He's clearly second-guessing a lot of the decisions he's making. It's like he's caught between his usual shtick of like, relax, everything's going to be okay, they'll slug stuff.
Yep.
But then making reactive and proactive decisions day to day about the team. Like, the actions aren't really matching the words for Rob Thompson right now. Is he the reason that things aren't going great with the team right now? Like, no, I wouldn't say he's the reason. I think the organization put him in a bad spot this season by not addressing the bottom of the order, not addressing the bullpen, letting guys go there. And even the star players really aren't carrying their weight. You know, we didn't even get into Bryce Harper's poorly timed gender reveal.
I was going to leave that. I was going to leave that
striking out with the baby.
I was going to leave that
baby
one
blue
alone.
bat.
I was going to leave that one alone.
So like, it's not all Rob Thompson, but I do think to some degree it starts with him. Like, the team just looks like they're lacking energy right now, and I think a lot of that has to do with like the erratic behavior by the manager. Like, I mean, erratic seems like a strong word.
I think it's the right word.
But it's like strong.
No, I think it's the right word. It's been erratic.
It's he's been unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really get. I don't have a read on what Rob Thompson's plan is right now, and it feels like that's trickling down to a lot of the guys on the team.
I would ask you this: what are you supposed to do when you're given the same roster that you had last year? And nothing's changed.
Well, so I understand
you have to
that.
try to be creative.
I understand that, but it feels like he's between things. Like, it looks like he's desperately looking for answers as opposed to being like, I have the answers. And I think the players can see that.
He has done more change, and some people may appreciate this. He's changed more in the first 2 weeks than he usually ever does.
Yes.
So you could read that one of 2 ways. He's trying, but it's not working, right?
And they're not, or they're not responding.
Well, but okay, either way, it's not great, right?
Yeah.
Like, either way, it's not. And again, I don't think this is all his fault. But sometimes in sports, we know this. The person that's kind of the coach or the manager, it's not their fault. They didn't build the team, but they got to get the most out of the team.
Yeah.
And right now, they look. I mean, it's going on for a while now. They look listless.
They look like they're kind of like playing tight. Like it looks like they don't know what the answer is.
That was Girardi in 22. Right. He looked tight. They looked tight, and they didn't wake up for 2 months, so they kicked him out the door. Again, I don't want to fire Rob today, but am I starting to second guess him as the Phillies manager? Yeah. I mean, he's trying things. It's not working. And last night it bothered me. JT rarely shows that kind of emotion.
And he was cursing.
He was
mad. Using grown folks' language.
Yes.
And
on a night of a gender reveal. We can't be doing that.
If you look at the video that John put out, though, it's not a good look when you're sitting there. Rob Zombie was appropriate, though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm riding for Rob. I'm riding for Rob this morning.
14 minutes in, you called him Rob Zombie.
But no, it was funny. Listen, because y'all know how I roll, right? So I went. John Johnson posted the picture.
Went to the comments?
Went straight to the comments, Joe. Went straight to the comments. And I'm looking, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I feel bad for him, but, I mean.
Hold on. And then he had the nerve to go out there between innings and address the lighting situation with the umpires.
Can we focus on the important things here?
My goodness.
Your catcher is pouring his emotion out, and you're sitting there half asleep in the dugout. 215.
I'm even trying to win a game.
592-9494. Where do you come down the Phillies right now? Reaction to last night, and specifically Rob Thompson. Are you starting to second guess him as the Phillies manager? I am. I've been a Topper guy. I like Topper, but he's got to get more out of this team. If he pushes buttons, something needs to work here soon because none of this stuff is working right now. And last night, it bothered me. That is a spot for the manager to come out. Baseball's been playing this game for 120 years. The manager comes out and either defends his guy so he doesn't get thrown out, or he just sparks the team, shows them, I've got your back. And last night, he sat there like he didn't, like, not going to say he didn't care, but whatever.
He was caught off guard.
Caught off guard? That pitch was 6 inches off the plate.
First of all, this is not an excuse. I'm just trying to bring you behind the curtain just a little bit. But
my goodness gracious. Wake up, Rob. Rob, wake up in the dugout.